This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. Here now, Tony Bruschi.
Let's be honest. When someone vanishes on Mother's Day and the husband's first move is to point at a missing mountain bike, you know we're in for a wild one. Suzanne Morphew was supposed to spend May 10, 2020, enjoying breakfast in bed or a phone call from her daughters. Instead, she vanished into thin air. No witnesses, no obvious crime scene, just a bike dumped like a stage prop in the bushes and a husband spinning a tale about a Sunday ride gone wrong. But investigators weren't buying it. And over time, the story that unraveled didn't just implicate Barry Morphew, it practically had him in the starring role. And with a new 2025 indictment on deck, this case just got a lot more interesting. Let's start with the biggest red flag waving in the wind like a Home Depot tarp. Suzanne's remains were found in 2023, buried in a shallow grave over 40 miles away from her home. After more than 3 years of searching, they didn't just find bones. They found BAM in her bones. Not BAM, like an exclamation. BAM! As in butorphanol, acetaminophen, and medetomidine, a veterinary tranquilizer so niche, it's basically the artisanal cocktail of chemical sedatives. And guess who was the only private citizen in the entire region with the history of buying that exact combination? That's right, Barry. Allegedly, he used it back in Indiana to tranquilize deer because, sure, nothing says wholesome rural vibes like drugging wildlife to saw off their antlers for resale. But finding BAM in Suzanne's bones wasn't just a forensic curiosity, it was a forensic mic drop. This wasn't residue on her clothes or something on her skin. This stuff had metabolized. It was deep in her bones, meaning she'd been dosed, absorbed it into her system, and died with it still circulating. Not only that, but BAM isn't just something you casually leave lying around in your garage. It requires a vet, a prescription, and actual knowledge to use. You have to draw it into a syringe, load it into a tranquilizer dart, and fire it using specific equipment. That level of specificity narrows the suspect pool to, well, one guy. And speaking of darts, let's talk about that curious little plastic cap found in the family dryer alongside Barry's shorts. No fingerprints, no DNA, but come on, what are the odds a cap from a tranquilizer syringe just casually ends up mixed in with your Sunday laundry? Unless Barry's out there running a mobile vet clinic, there's really no good reason for that to be tumbling around with his hands. Prosecutors allege it's circumstantial, sure, but circumstantial with a bullhorn. One small piece of plastic linking Barry to the exact method of death later confirmed in Suzanne's bones. Then there's the digital ghosting. On the afternoon of May 9, Suzanne sends a sun-drenched selfie to her secret lover, former high school fling she'd reconnected with during a crumbling marriage. Just minutes after that selfie, Barry's phone goes dark. Airplane mode, off the grid, no GPS, no calls, no texts. For nearly 8 hours. This isn't a dead battery moment. This is a window where investigators believe Suzanne was killed, her body transported, and everything covered up. The timing is suspicious enough to make you lean in. But when paired with what happens next, it starts to stink. Because the next day, Barry's truck magically stops recording telemetry data. From 3:30 a.m. to 8:10 a.m. on May 10, his vehicle logs nothing. No door openings, no engine starts, no movement. Investigators believe this was deliberate, an intentional disruption to hide where Barry went during those early hours. When the truck starts talking again, it's already in Broomfield, Colorado, exactly where Barry claimed to be going for work. A work trip, by the way, that he didn't tell his coworkers about, showed up early for, stayed barely any time at, and somehow forgot to bring actual work equipment too. Because nothing screams normal contractor behavior like showing up for a job on Mother's Day with no tools. And while he was in Broomfield, Barry wasn't scouring bike trails or knocking on doors. He was dumping trash. A lot of it. Surveillance cameras captured him tossing bag after bag into multiple commercial dumpsters behind hotels, restaurants, gas stations. And when asked what was in the bags, Barry gave one of the most Barry answers imaginable: "I can't remember." Right, because when your wife is missing and the entire state is looking for her, your priority is getting rid of mystery garbage in places with security cameras. Back at home, investigators noticed a fresh crack in the bedroom doorframe. a crack the previous homeowner said wasn't there before. When asked, Barry claimed to have no idea how it got there. Investigators believe it was caused during a domestic altercation, possibly when Suzanne locked herself in the bedroom and Barry forced his way in. There were also unexplained scratches on Barry's arm, captured in photos taken by police days after Suzanne vanished. He didn't provide a convincing explanation for them either. Let's just say chipmunk scratches didn't make the final report. Now, later in the relationship context, Suzanne had told friends she felt unsafe with Barry, that she was done, that she wanted to divorce him. Her final text to Barry, said just 3 days before she disappeared, was blunt. "I'm done. I could care less what you're up to. We just need to figure this out civilly." That message was found deleted from Barry's phone, but investigators recovered it. They also found that Barry had screenshotted that same message, likely because it struck a nerve. Prosecutors now say it shows Barry's motive: control, rage, a desperate need to stop Suzanne from leaving. And then there's the big picture. Suzanne's bike helmet found a mile away from her bike. No blood, no drag marks, no indication she ever rode that bike. It was staged, placed off the side of the road like a sad theatrical prop in a one-man show no one asked for. Suzanne's personal items, her sunglasses, hydration pack, phone, were still at home. Investigators say she never left for a ride. She was already gone. So, what do we have? A woman planning to leave her husband, a rare drug in her bones that only her husband had access to, a syringe cap in his laundry, multiple data blackouts, sketchy dumpster runs, physical evidence of a struggle, and digital footprints that scream, "I did something bad and I'm hiding it." Barry Morphew wasn't caught red-handed, but the digital forensic and behavioral evidence forms a trail. Messy, imperfect, but compelling. That's why in 2025, a grand jury indicted him again, not on hope, but on evidence. Suzanne's voice is gone, but the clues she left behind, her texts, her last selfie, the bam in her bones, are louder than ever. And this time, Barry may not be able to talk his way out of it. Barry maintains his innocence. What will the jury think?
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers podcast.